the National Union of Mine Workers, currently meeting with the management at Bakubung Platinum Mine. This is over the continued underground sit-in of more than 200 disgruntled mine workers who are aggrieved by the planned mass retrenchments at the mine, which will see about 500 jobs being basically shed. I'm now joined by the Mineral Resources and Energy Department spokesperson, Makhosonke Buthelezi, who talks to us from Pretoria. Good morning to you, sir, and thank you for your time. Let's begin with the department's stance on what seems to be a preferred way of raising concerns or grievances. This is not the first sit-in of its kind. Are you concerned about the trend in how mine workers raise concerns, which is to sit underground in very, very hot conditions many a times?
Good morning, Polly. Yes, we are deeply concerned with the growing trend of sit-ins underground because it is not safe to do so. Anything can happen, and this may result into injuries. Remember, workers are meant to be there for a certain period, and then you have to resurface and to be out. So if you sit in for elongated time, it deeply concerns us because then it attracts safety risks.
And there are those workers who are on chronic medication. Already we've received reports that some of them have had to be brought to the surface because they need to gain access to that medication. How else would you encourage workers to raise their grievances without using this form of protest?
Look, Labor Relations Act, they outline how these grievances can be handled. There is CCMA where you can go and really register your grievances if you can't find each other or there's no agreement that can be reached between an employer and an employee. And we encourage the employers and the employees to really explore working with the CCMA. And in fact, we have, as the department, when this trend started to grow, that they should talk to the CCMA, get them involved, and we've also consulted with them to get them involved to resolve these matters, because what we don't want to see is having a disaster that could result in people losing their lives when this can be prevented, and there are avenues to resolve these labor-related issues.
Yeah. Well, at the heart of this issue is the fear of job losses by the workers. And I'd like to hear from the department side as to the kinds of engagements or conversations that you possibly may have had with mining houses, mining bosses, because they are the ones that are threatening these retrenchments. How is that being addressed?
Yes, so there are ongoing consultations through the Minerals Councils of South Africa because, look, we all concerned about job losses, and it's something that we would want to prevent. So as we're speaking to you, there are ongoing consultations to find ways to prevent these job losses in the mining industry.
A little earlier, I had a conversation with the General Secretary of COSATU, the largest federation in the country, and he seemed to be suggesting that mine management, instead of using retrenchments as a last resort, it seems that it is the first thing they consider when production, or should we say profit, is not being made by the mining company concerned. Are you finding that there is truth in what they are saying, that retrenchments are being considered first by mine managers?
We are not aware of that. And as far as I can recall, in the Joburg mining in the sometime this year, and one of the mining houses did indicate that it is actually a last resort to retrench workers. And sorry. So, with that being said, I'm not too sure how true is that it is the first, or how widespread is that mining houses look at retrenchment as the first resolution when they find themselves in a bind. So, but that is why we are having these ongoing talks and consultations with through the council, mining council, to resolve these issues. To say instead of considering retrenching workers as the first resolution, let's look at alternatives, because we all want to prevent job losses.
Yeah. How big a factor is the ports and rail infrastructure, or should we say dysfunction? Because the mining houses, they seem to be suggesting, well, at least some of them seem to be suggesting that they're stockpiling because the product is not moving perhaps as fast as it should because of the dysfunction within Transnet. How big a factor has that been for mining companies saying we're simply not making a profit?
That has also been raised in the Joburg mining endeavor, that it is a factor, and it is really worrying, and that is why there is this committee that was established by the president for the mining houses, labor, and government to look at how they can resolve issues at the port, because it is a concern, and everybody is aware that things are not moving in the port, and they harm and affect the industry, the mining industry, and other industries as well. And that is why there is this roadmap that has been conceived and given to Transnet to implement, because those are the efforts to try and resolve the issues that are happening at the ports.
Final question to you, sir. The role of the Minerals and Energy Department in helping the mining houses ameliorate the impact of load shedding, because that's one of the key factors. When there is no power, basically workers got to come to a stop, unless you're going to tell us different in how mining houses have been coping with load shedding.
Look, one of the things that the department has done in trying to assist with that is to do away with the capping on allowing mining, particularly private sector, to generate their own power through renewables. And most of the mines have taken up that. I know Harmonic Gold has also established their own renewable plant. Sirit is also investing in that. So that's one of the policy shifts that we have done as the department to encourage private generation of energy by the mining industry as well as other industry. But we also participate in various structures that have been established, such as NECOM, and there is also another structure that has been established, just as it happens with the logistics, established between government, business, and it is coordinated in the presidency to look at the issues of load shedding, and we are part of that as the department.
Just finally, as I let you go, is the department a facilitator at all between the unions and mine management at Bakubung in order to resolve that situation? We are sitting in a heat wave. It is scorching on the surface. I can only imagine what it's like underground. Are you helping at all in that regard, facilitating talks? Okay, I think Makhosonke Buthelezi may have lost the connection to me. Are you able to hear me at all, sir? Okay.
This being a labor issue, naturally, if the...
You can go on, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
I can hear you.
Perfect.
Can
Please
you hear
go.
me?
Yes, we're still with you.
Yes, I can
Please
hear
go
you.
ahead.
Yeah, I was saying this being a labor issue doesn't fall within the purview of the department, but obviously mining is, we are responsible for the regulation of the mining industry, and if anything happens, there is of concern to the department, and that is why we are facilitating mediation through CCMA, and we're encouraging the management and
All right, Makhosonke Buthelezi, that connection to him progressively getting worse, but we have gotten the nub of what we really needed to talk to him about, and that is the situation playing out at the moment. As a department, they are not particularly involved because this is a labor matter, but the well-being of the mining space, that is their concern, and that is why they have felt it necessary to come and give their thoughts on the situation there.